Focus on Nampo is proudly brought to you by Hino, Mix Telematics and Volvo Trucks. Boots, kortbroek, utility belt and hat. And we're missing something. Oh yes, John Deere. That can only mean one thing, the biggest agricultural show in Africa.
Just in case you're wondering why I'm clinging perilously to the edge of a silo, that's because I'm at Nampo, the farming show in the middle of the Free State. Obviously the Free State's a good place for a farming show because it's very central, and I'm going to be joined by 60,000 visitors who are coming here to view the wares of 650 exhibitors. This is kind of like the Johannesburg Motoring Show, but for farmers.
Gone are the days when manufacturers just made plain simple tractors. Nowadays, massive machines with caterpillar tracks are transversing the fields of farmers. And no self-respecting agricultural manufacturer would be without a combined harvester in its model range. The stands were also a good place for a little farmer and son bonding while clambering over the outside and checking out the innards of these sophisticated machines. Importantly, the dimensions of these beasts are another consideration in order to fit the machine into the barn back on the farm. And from combined harvesters to sprayers, this is the latest sprayer on offer from John Deere, the R4038. These redesigned flat-fold booms are wider than before, with a spread of up to 36.5 meters. This machine also has better weight distribution and now comes with air suspension. The benefits are not only a smoother ride, but also better and more controlled spraying. It takes only 15 seconds to unfold the booms, and with a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, farmers are able to cover more ground, thereby saving time. If the driver is not paying attention, these booms are designed with a breakaway tip section to help to protect the boom. It simply bends back to prevent any major damage, then resets automatically. Spraying the fields is no longer the mission it used to be, with cruise control and a slip control feature, offering good traction no matter how muddy the field. I am sure that there are many in the farming community who are green with envy if they are not using the latest R4038. As expected of an agricultural show of this magnitude, animals were in no short supply. As cute and surprisingly clean as these animals were, it must be remembered that they're still going to end up on our tables as scrumptious pork offerings. And onto other porky affairs. No, this is not a pig, but rather a sheep that must eat like a pig. Ah, this is more like it, although he doesn't look particularly happy. The beef industry was well represented, and breeders took particular delight in their prized animals. Variety was also evident, as well as the unusual pens. Does this look a little bit like the cow in the manger? No? Anyway, moving on. And it cannot be said that the cows were not making a fashion statement with the adornment of nose rings. Winston Churchill once noted that no hour of life is wasted that is spent in the saddle. Horses also stirred a fair deal of attention, and, in keeping with the equestrian theme, we discovered an interesting ride for our four-legged friends.
And what better way to transport your horse? This is an incredible streamlined multi-purpose van which comes with a double bed, a stove, a fridge, a toilet, a shower, and enough space for 3 horses. So you don't have 3 horses, you say? No problem. You can stick in another 4 beds or a lounge suite and a television.
Did we mention the looks? No boxy horse trailer shape for this multi-purpose caravan horse trailer combo. Sleek aerodynamics too. And staying with horses, although this time the more mechanical kind, we headed over to the folks at Volvo to find out what is happening in the trucking world.
Torbjörn, this is obviously a farming show. What are you doing here?
Well, I think this is the biggest farming show in the Southern Hemisphere, so we have been here for many years, and it's an extremely good way to meet customers, and as you know, agriculture also requires a lot of trucks, so I think this is a very nice exhibition that we are proud to be part of.
What products do you have specifically for the farming market?
Well, we have, of course, the FMX is the obvious one. It's a very good truck to be utilized in different applications. I think that is one of the bigger ones. But then, of course, the FH is also here to move a lot of the raw material from here to the different places where it's needed. So I think we have a broad product program that fits farmers where they need it. But of course, the FMX in different applications, the rigid ones, are the ones where we are selling quite a lot into the agricultural sector.
Is your market share growing in this segment?
We sell roughly 1,000 trucks into the different applications, and that's for the 3 brands, Volvo, UD and Renault Trucks.
Can you explain the different brands in your group, please, and how they all fit in?
Well, Volvo Group is specializing on heavy transportation, and in the group we have Volvo Construction Equipment, the yellow machines, we also have Volvo Bus, and then we have our truck brands, and that is Volvo Trucks, Renault Trucks, UD Trucks, Mack Trucks, and we are also part owner of Aisha Trucks, that is an Indian brand. And all brands have their unique position in the group, so instead of competing with each other, we are trying really to complement each other in the group, and that's the strategy going forward.
And I would imagine that irrespective of which brand, fuel consumption plays a very important role. And you have your Drivers Fuel Challenge. Tell me about that.
Well, that is a yearly event that has been ongoing for many years, where we have test drives and we test the drivers in safety and everything, and also driving and also fuel efficient driving, of course. So we have a yearly competition where we from South Africa now are entering this competition for the first time. So it's built on having a local competition, and then you go to a world final, 1 driver from each country. So we are proud to be part of that here for the first time in South Africa, realizing that fuel efficiency here has not been as important earlier, but it's really becoming very important for our customers.
Volvo is renowned for caring about drivers. What are you doing to enhance their experience?
If you look at the Volvo truck, it's really built around the driver. If you look at the different features, it's of course also the latest truck that has hit the market. So all the new technologies for safety and so on is of course built into the truck. But we run a lot of different things to help our drivers, and I think one is the driver training program, where we have a lot of driver trainers that support our transporters to get the best out of the truck. You really need to know how to utilize the equipment to get the most mileage out of the fuel. And I think here you need to have training, because the trucks are getting more and more complicated. So I think that is one way we help our drivers. Then of course safety, especially we have a responsibility. We carry quite heavy loads and drive long distances, so our customers' drivers need to be alert and helped to behave safely on the road, of course, and that's what we are spending a lot of time and money on to help our transporters.
You've stated that if you want to grow your market share, after-sales service is really important. What are you doing to achieve this?
We are on our way with the Volvo and Renault to expand our network. That has been a point where we not have been covering the country as we would have liked, and we have last year expanded with 3 sites. Pretoria East, we have also in East London, and we have also in Rustenburg expanded. So our plan is to go to have 21, 22 sites, and we were at 14, so now we are at 17. So we have 4 sites more to open the next coming years. And then we feel we have a fairly comprehensive network to cover the country in the best possible way. We have also expanded into on-site services, where we do service on a transporter's facility, where we station mechanics, and then the owners of the trucks and transporters that not need to come to our workshop. We are stationed at their facility. So I think expanding the network and react very swiftly on customer feedback, I think, is crucial.
And I would imagine that parts delivery is also very important. You are opening a new parts warehouse soon?
Yes, we are just about now in the very intense construction phase of the new warehouse, where we will have all parts for this part of Africa being imported for the Volvo group. That is Volvo Trucks, Renault Trucks, UD Trucks, Volvo Construction Equipment, and also Volvo Penta and Volvo Bus. So all parts will come there and will be stored there in a newly expanded warehouse. It's a 60 million rand investment from our side, where we, let's say, expand our facility and more or less triple the size of it.
At the end of last year, you launched an all-new truck range. How's it performing 6 months down the road?
I think it's doing quite well. We have more or less 1,000 orders to fulfill. So we are overwhelmed by the reception and the order intake. So now it's more to get the factory running and make sure we do deliver the trucks as promised. So I think it's in a very exciting phase. But as you know, the truck is very well received, and now we have 2 years down the road in more or less in Europe, and we have won the Truck of the Year award, and there are I think about 40,000 trucks on the road in Europe. So it's doing extremely well, and I think we could not have asked for a better launch.
From big trucks to the smaller ones, drawing attention on the Volkswagen stand was the prototype Amarok Extreme, with all the mechanicals from a standard Amarok, like ABS and EBD, still operational. This is a bakkie made for the hardcore enthusiast. With suspension borrowed from the 4Motion T5, this vehicle still has a top speed of 160 kilometers an hour. And another newbie, the Cross Caddy, with more stuff. And, in keeping with the agricultural theme, a green interior. Stay tuned for more from Nampo 2014 after the break.
The Free State is famous for millie fields and millies. And you'd think that coming to a farming show, you'd see a bunch of farmers arriving on their tractors. Well, not at Nampo. I'm surrounded by 98 aircraft, and tomorrow is going to be even busier.
Interestingly, this becomes the busiest airport in Africa during the Nampo show, with its very own air traffic control. Clearly, these guys did quite a bit of shopping at the show. We also caught up with Stephen Sutherland from Mix Telematics. You may have seen his vehicle on the road, crammed with the latest gizmos that his company has to offer. And we're about to find out even more.
Steve, this is obviously a farming show. What are you doing here?
This is Nampo, so if you want a bit of a farming feel, it's a place where everything's different. Doesn't matter what music it plays, it sounds different, it feels different. It's probably a lot more relaxed than some of the other shows that you go to, and so therefore it's just a great place to be.
What products do you actually have, though, that are relevant to farmers, and how can they actually benefit the farming community?
Well, you don't have to walk around Nampo for a long time to realize they're definitely tech savvy, and they definitely want to apply technology to their businesses. We believe that they're not immune from some of the troubles that face just the normal transporters.
You refer to troubles in a business. What are you referring to?
I think we've got a saying that you can't manage what you can't monitor. So being able to monitor all aspects at the same time, you can then pick up if you have got troubles. But everybody wants to reduce their fuel utilization, everybody wants to make sure that they reduce the abuse on the equipment and their assets, and they want to make sure that they're getting full productivity out of their resources. And all of those things fall very nicely into the fleet management mold.
So how can you help them do that?
If you're looking at all the expensive equipment that we've been walking around and having a good gander at this morning, if there's a lot of money sitting there and you don't want it sitting idle, you want to know, are you maximizing the spend that you've put into that? And that's exactly where we can help them. We can also help them to monitor the engine hours so that they can make sure that they're servicing and maintaining that equipment so that it's always working properly. And then again, from a mobile resource perspective, we can make sure that the mobile resources that they have, the people, the resources, usually the expensive resources in the building, we can make sure that their productivity levels are also high.
And now you're launching a product called Mix Mobitech. What's that all about?
I think we're all very well familiar with how onboard computers work in a vehicle, and so it helps you to manage the productivity performance of that vehicle. You know exactly where it is, you know what it's doing. Essentially what it does is, if you take Mix Mobitech, for example, it gives you a mobile resource management platform which is similar. So now you can manage your resource when they're outside the vehicle, and you can also guide them through the various tasks they need to perform. You can ensure that they input the information that they need to input against that task. The good thing about it is that's immediately coming into your back end, and it's visible to your business. It allows them to do everything on a pad type device. So it's an Android driven device. Even if you're collecting signatures for EPODs, if you're inputting information about amounts, costs, you can have a look at your revenue climbing as he finishes and completes the various tasks. Some of the devices have built-in scanners, so you can even scan product in and out of the vehicle. So in other words, you're now running a real-time business.
We're surrounded by lots of screens in this very, very technologically advanced vehicles. Tell me what all these things do.
What we also believe is, in order to manage the driver properly, you've got to involve him. He's got to be exposed so that he can also learn. So essentially what we're looking at on this side is, this is the Rovi, it's an in-cab terminal. So it allows you now to be able to communicate with your driver on various levels. The current level that you're looking at the moment is, here we're informing the driver of which violations he has incurred on this particular trip. So when he incurs a violation, the system will actually tell him he acknowledges and accepts the fact that that's where he erred, and it will also give him a count. At the end of each trip, he can see whether it was a good trip, or he can see in which areas he was weak. The device is also used to send messages. So you find that we're so used to phoning somebody, but in 2 weeks' time nobody can remember whether he was asked, whether he said yes, whether he said no. So you can send jobs and messaging to the driver through the device. He acknowledges and accepts that particular task, and then the device navigates him to the relevant destination. At the same time, it feeds your estimated time of arrival back into your control center, so that when they talk to the customer, they can say he's on his way, he'll be there in 15 minutes.
And the cameras on the windscreen over there?
Charlie, we've actually got two. So the one camera is kind of very much what this industry is getting used to. It's obviously a road-facing and an internal cab-facing camera. That particular one, Mixed Vision, is event-driven, so it's completely integrated with the onboard computer, which means that any single event that occurs on the onboard computer triggers an event clip. That clip is then posted back into the back end, and through the same user interface that you're managing your fleet, you can now also view the clips. The second one is the mobile eye device, and that camera is essentially used to monitor unannounced lane deviation and accident avoidance. So that measures the speed of the vehicle in front of you and warns you when you're getting too close, so that you're not doing what they call bumper bashing or tailgating, and it allows you enough time to slow the vehicle down, which also improves your fuel consumption, because now you're not revving up, slowing down, revving up, slowing down. Helps you to maintain your speed. If you change lanes without indicating, the system will also indicate to which side you've now incurred that. Again, it's integrated into the OBC, so those appear as violations on your reports as well. So you can see if your drivers are driving safely or not. Apart from just that, the camera is also clever enough to do pedestrian recognition. If it believes that the pedestrian is going to be stepping into your field, it will warn you and give you a notification. It's the same technology that's being used quite extensively now on Volvo.
Utilizing similar technology and emphasizing the high-tech nature that farming has also embraced, Case was demonstrating its driverless tractor. But equally impressive was their 9230 combined harvester, 373 kilowatts of power, a grain tank capacity of 13,300 litres. If you're a farmer, you will appreciate the uberness of those figures.
We import from America, and a normal machine at a price we're selling at 4.4 million, excluding VAT.
How many of them do you sell per year?
On the biggest machine, around about 7 a year, and total machines, the industry plus us is doing about 300 machines a year.
At 4.4 million, it must be quite clever. Tell me exactly what it does.
It looks quite simple, but it do a hell of a different job. Because to get a corn in the front, move it through the machine, take off the pips from the material, it's quite a difficult process, but it can do it.
And if you think ploughs have fallen behind in the technology run, think again. Although this is actually a Rovic planter, which is a combination of plough and seeder and fertilizer. This machine parts the earth using the typical ploughing method while simultaneously planting seed and fertilizer into the soil using a rotary system of compressed air. Pretty clever, but at 1.4 million rand, it should be.
One of the less obvious features here at Nampo, or Nampo as the locals call it, is of course silos, which as we all know are used to store grain. But I think this could be quite a cool 3-story house. However, you need to bear in mind that you need really good insulation, because right now it's freezing in here, and I suspect that later on it's going to be really, really hot.
Not as hot as the local fashion of boots, kortbroek, shirts and hats. Although, when you see the price of some of the footwear on show, it's clearly only for the well-heeled. Our next stop was at Hino, where most of the company's model range was on display, and we discovered that Hino and Nampo go way back.
Hino, South Africa, has been in the country since 1972. In other words, for just over 42 years, which is long before Nampo started. And we've also always seen the agricultural sector as being a very important sector for us to perform in. There's always a product that has to be moved to the market. So I think it's crucial for us to keep on supporting agriculture, and we are very proud to be associated with the Nampo show. We have just opened our new production facility in Durban. Obviously, we are very proud of this new magnificent world-class facility. This gives us a lot of benefits in terms of what we are able to do. First obvious thing is it gives us more flexibility in terms of our production and catering for our customers' needs in terms of what vehicles they want to be built when. This also gives us an opportunity to improve our quality, reliability and durability, and also for our employees. It is a much better environment in which to work, and we've seen that the morale has even improved in terms of our staff.
Along with the many visitors to the stand, we noticed that one of the trucks was promoting Hino's latest campaign. So, cue the marketing department to clarify.
Samira, why is Hino at Nampo?
Well, definitely from our side, seeing that we are a major role player in the truck industry, we are here to also promote our brand campaign, which we have been pushing since last year. That is encapsulated by our Keep on Trucking tagline. So this is a reminder to ourselves that we're here to keep our customers trucking on the road with our after-sales service and our maintenance plans. And we've chosen the 12 most important industries that we supply vehicles to. That is based on our different ranges, our Hino 300, 700, 500, and not forgetting Dyna. So we've got Keep on Farming caps that we've got, and we've got Keep on Hauling, Keep on Delivering, that are attributed to the different industries that we sell our vehicles to. It's not just a marketing tool, but it is something that we use to communicate to the vast majority of clientele out there that we are here as a support base to keep you on the road.
2014 is an extremely important year for us, as we have tried to look at what other activities some of our Hino manufacturers around the world are doing. And we will be implementing some of these ideas that they have implemented very successfully. For example, we will be doing more driver training. As we've seen, that is a very important aspect.
What is Hino doing about driver training?
We concentrate more in evaluating and orientating driver trainers of our fleet owners so as they can understand exactly how our product should be operated. Because if the truck is not operated correctly, you will never benefit. The fuel consumption, the turnaround time, with others, I would say in one word, your productivity is not going to be acceptable.
Sam, South Africa's got a terrible road safety record. How important is driver training when it comes to changing that?
I believe that driver training has to always be a priority, because the truck that most drivers are driving is over 1 million. The trailer is over 500,000, and then the load sometimes over 2 million. You'll find that the poor driver's driver is got in his hand 3.5 million, but is unfortunately untrained, whereby at the end of the day, it's not going to what is being expected from me as a professional driver.
The Hino Total philosophy is based upon 100% uptime and looking at the cost of ownership of our customers' vehicles. We have successfully done that in conjunction with Hino Motors Limited in Japan, and are extremely proud with the results that we have achieved. Obviously, we don't take this for granted and continuously have to work extremely hard in maintaining the standard And that is not good enough for us. We actually have to keep increasing the standards because other manufacturers all the time are trying to take this number one position away from us, which we will not do without a fight.
So confident is Hino in its brand and product that the company has entered the Dakar Rally. But what are its plans in store for the future?
It's very interesting that in the truck market, the latest products are not always the most popular models. You have to prove your worth in the truck industry, which is very similar to the light commercial industry. And we've seen that on the Toyota side in terms of Hilux that keeps on performing very well. However, we are in the planning phase of new products into the future. Unfortunately, at this stage, I can't say much about that, but it's a very exciting couple of years ahead for Hino South Africa, in which we will be introducing a couple of new products which will elevate us to hopefully the number one position in the truck market in South Africa.
Of course, while the trucks came in all shapes and sizes, so too did the farmers, although the majority were clad in khaki. But let's not go there. We found something that would suit their brawny nature in the form of this Wrangler Jeep with its tricked out suspension and 5.7 litre Hemi.
Okay, that was a lot of fun, even for a city slicker like me. And I've learned that farming is about a lot more than just boere, boerewors and bakkies. I think I'll be back next year, but next time around, I'll be the one in khaki, kortbroek and boots.
Focus on Nampo is proudly brought to you by Hino, Mixed Telematics and Volvo Trucks.